What's up? I'm Ashley, and we're going to be breaking down Yellowjackets, Season 3, Episode 9. But first, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And with that being said, we're going to start things off in the wilderness. Akila looks at Mari, and she want to know what's going on. She said, "What's even happening?" "I want to know too. We all do." Lottie starts talking. "Oh, shut up, Lottie. Talking about you're all going to see this is the right decision." Travis tells her, "We've all been in hell, and you have no right to keep us in it." Then here she go. "It's not me. It's what it wants." "Shut up, Lottie." I'm just glad Travis has started talking again. He went into this shell when his brother died, and he's finally coming out of it. Now Thaisa starts talking about how they don't have to stay there forever. They just have too many things they have to clean up right now. In between Natalie and Shauna's back and forth, Natalie tells Shauna, "You don't get to tell everybody what to do." And Shauna saying, "Well, I already did and they're going to do it." Kodiak said, "I'm out of here." Shauna easily takes the gun from Natalie, and now I'm mad at Natalie because how you let Shauna take the gun from you like that? She aims the gun at Kodiak, and she's ready to blast on him until Thaisa steps in and says, "We can just put them in the animal bin until we figure out what to do with them." Shauna agrees, but says, "Take their shoes off." "Dang, girl. If you want their shoes off, why don't you take them off yourself?" But instead, she got her little minions running to do everything she tells them to do. That's why you just got punks into staying there, little punk. After that whole scene was over, Van goes up to Thaisa to ask her, did she really mean what she said when she said, "Eventually, we'll all leave"? Thaisa thinks going back right now will ruin their lives. She said, "Look how the frog scientists acted when they saw Coach Ben's head sitting up there like that. How do you think the rest of the world would act?" Van tells her to remember how winter was like. She's not trying to do another winter. That whole thing is going over Thaisa's head. She said, "We survived." With this weird smile on her face, Van said, "We ate a kid." Poor little Javi. Van tells her that the card game will run out. Thaisa said, "Good thing you've been practicing the cards then." I think Van cheating the system with the whole king card thing is how she got her karma. It didn't like it, and that's why she got cancer. Meanwhile, Shauna knows something is going on. She can feel it in her bones. She just can't figure it out. She sees the other girls huddled up talking, and she know they talking about her. So she tells her group who wants to stay, Melissa, Lottie, Thaisa, and Misty. Van is with them too. She not trying to leave her girl hanging. Even though she really want to go home, she needs to be with the other group. Shauna tells them they're up to something. Melissa said, "Like what?" Shauna turned around, looked at her, and said, "If I knew that, I would have handled it already." She's so nasty and rude. Thaisa says, "Well, they can't do anything because we have the gun." Then Misty comes up with the idea for her to be the spy so she can figure out what the other group is planning. Natalie and her group, Mari, Jen, and Akila, are still scheming and trying to find their way out of there. Akila says, "If we're here for another winter, I hope the wilderness chooses me first." Mari is still reminiscing about home. She said, "We were almost there." Cheeseburgers. Surprisingly, Mari hasn't been getting on my nerves this season, besides that whole snitching on Coach Ben thing. Are they trying to make Mari likable because she's going to be pit girl and they want us to feel sorry for her if she is? I don't know, but I'm leaning more towards she's not pit girl, but y'all let me know what y'all think. Jen thinks they should take the gun away from Shauna, but Natalie says she thinks she has another way. Misty tries to find out the tea, but they tell her to go away. Mari told her, "We saw you in that meeting with Team Crazy. Quit embarrassing yourself." Misty said, "Fine, but if you change your mind, you know where to find me." That leaves them wondering if Misty knows something, but then they're like, "Nah, never mind. She don't know nothing." After that, Misty sees Van looking suspicious with her backpack on, so she decides to follow her to the plane. When Van gets to the plane, she starts looking at all of these wires and puts some in her backpack. She then goes to this tree and she digs up the radio that belonged to Edwin and she starts trying to fix it. But she can't figure it out, and Misty is still watching all of this. And while Misty is watching, you can tell something is going through her head. When Melissa checks on Hannah at the animal bin, she wants to know what city is the real world in this season, but Hannah doesn't know because her channel stays on Nickelodeon. Hannah tells her about her daughter and how much she misses her. I know a lot of us have been wondering how old Hannah's daughter actually was while she was out there in the wilderness, and it turns out she was 10 years old. Hannah tells Melissa they can't keep us as a prisoner forever, right? Melissa told her, I stopped trying to predict what was going to happen out here a long time ago. All I know is people are willing to do some messed up stuff just to see another day. When Shauna walked by and saw them laughing, she was pissed. She said, Am I interrupting something? And stormed away. Melissa, of course, goes after her and says, What's your deal? Shauna said, What are you two giggling about? Do you know how dumb it is to get close to her? She's just using you to try to escape. Melissa said, And what? You think she makes a joke? And I'm like, You're hilarious. Here's your freedom. Melissa tells her she has a kid back home, and Shauna says, And you believe that? She's manipulating you. Oh, like you've been manipulating everybody this whole time, Shauna? So in the present day timeline, Shauna was over there acting like she just found out Hannah had a daughter. Shauna said, I just didn't think you were this stupid. Melissa storms out the hut. Shauna chases after her. She said, Get back here. I'm not done talking to you. No one gave a shit about you until me. Melissa turned around and said, Why can't you just be a nice person? It's not in her blood. She don't know how to. Shauna kept going. She said, You're nothing. Van standing back there, she said, Jesus. Melissa looks at everyone and says, Y'all were right. She's nuts. Shauna took the gun out and pointed it at her. She said, Say that again. Everyone's like, Come on, Shauna. Put the gun down. Melissa said, I dare you. Shauna shot one off, and it hits the edge of Melissa's jacket. It got a hole in it. She could have had a hole in herself. Melissa was so scared she peed herself. And I think it's funny and ironic that Van is the one who went over there to cover her up when we know what happens by the end of the episode. While all this is going down, Travis has made a pit with wooden spikes, and we see him testing it out with this log to see if the trap will work before he goes to get Lottie. He tells Lottie he was just out in the woods when he felt this rush go through his body and that he's never felt that before when he wasn't tripping. I think it was trying to talk to me. Will you come with me? You already know, Lottie down. When they get to the trap, she says, How can I help? He says, You can't. It's BS. You're BS. We have a chance at rescue. How do you not get that? Lottie started talking about, I just wanted you to see that he's here, that Javi is with us. Girl, why are you changing the subject? Then the wind starts blowing, and I said, Is that supposed to be Javi? Lottie then walks right onto the pit, but she doesn't fall through. She's just standing on it. Did nothing happen. Travis is shocked. I'm shocked. I said, What's going on? Is she some kind of prophet? Because how is she just standing on top of it like that? This reminds me of Jesus walking on water. And Lottie's no Jesus. When Mari pretends to take Hannah to the bathroom, Hannah is shook once she sees Natalie with the knife. Oh, no, don't hurt me. Natalie tells her, I'm not going to hurt you. I just need your help. I'm going to give you this knife. And tonight, while everyone is sleeping, cut yourself and Cody free. We're going to make a run for it, and hands her the knife. So that night, Melissa goes to Jen's hut and tells her, Forget Shauna, whatever's going on, I want in. Misty has stolen pieces from the radio Van had and is trying to figure them out, while Kodiak is trying to get Hannah to cut the rope so they can get free. She looks at him and asks, Who is Eric Chung? Because she don't trust him either. He tells her he got the jacket from a thrift store, but I feel like he only told her that because he overheard her telling Edwin that. He tells her, Focus. Do you ever want to see your kid again or not? So she cuts them both free. But Shauna's spidey senses are tingling. She knows something up. She jumped out of bed, catches them right as they're leaving, pulls out her gun and says, I knew it! Who gave you the knife? Hannah's scared. She don't know what to do. She said, Cody gave it to me. Turns around and stabs him right in the eyeball. Now he dead. I said, What? Takes the knife out his eyeball, hands it to Shauna and says, Please, I want to be a part of this. Now look what you did. You threw all my Kodiak theories out the window. Now why you gotta go and do that? I was having fun. What the show could do is show us in the finale just how bad of a person Kodiak really was. I'ma still hold on to my theories. Even Hannah didn't trust him. Everyone back at camp saw all this go down, but it was Jen and Melissa who was planning on leaving with the rest of the group who went back to tell Mari, Natalie, and Akila what just went down because they were waiting for them. When Jen said Hannah shoved a knife through that guy's face, everyone's hopes and dreams, went right down the drain. And to see Natalie break down like that when it started to snow almost made me cry. She was trying her hardest to get out of there before another winter came, but everything she did just kept getting shut down. If it wasn't Lottie, it was Shauna. If it wasn't Shauna, it was Thaisa. If it wasn't Thaisa, it's Hannah. Now I have a better understanding when it comes to adult Natalie and where she was coming from, stressed out, drugged out. I mean, who wouldn't dabble in it after going through all of that? I mean, you know what I mean. As she's sitting there in her tears in disbelief, she sees someone walk by, and it's Misty, so she decides to follow her. Misty digs up the black box, the one she destroyed so they can't get rescued. As she's looking through it, she discovers there's a piece inside that could get the radio to work, but gets caught by Natalie. She says, "What are you doing?" Misty looks up at her in excitement and says, "I know how to get us home." This is just what Misty's been wanting, to be the hero. She loved being the hero. Natalie's eyes got bigger than a deer. She said, "Oh my God, you have the transponder?" Misty sitting over there looking stupid. Just wait until everybody else finds out about this. Moving on to present day. Adult Van sees her teenage self again while she's in the hospital. She wonders if this is all a dream and if she's dead. Almost. Not yet. Teen Van's response is, "Death is around every corner." Then Teen Van starts talking about the Goonies. She gives her a quick Goonies recap and tells her it's the greatest quest of all time. Adult Van don't want to hear it. She said, "I saw that 100 times already. I know what it's about. Why are you telling me this?" Teen Van says because it's a classic hero's journey. X marks the spot. Teen Van puts this black liquid inside of Adult Van's IV and says it's just a little something for the road. It looks like some type of voodoo to me. When Adult Van wakes up, Thaisa is sitting right there by her side. Van starts talking about this old man at the shore eating saltwater taffy. Thaisa said, "When you get out of here, I'll get you the best taffy you ever had." Van said, "I don't even like taffy." All of a sudden, Van says, "Come on, Ty, we're getting out of here." I'm like, "What? How?" So Teen Van gave Adult Van just enough voodoo juice to live for about 5 hours to complete a quest. I'm trying to process it. I'm trying to understand. We get to Shauna saying, "Come on, just take a bite." Like the psycho she is, she's still trying to get Melissa Kelly to eat her own arm skin. I said, "Melissa Kelly, you better go on ahead and eat it, because you already know Shauna will never let up." So Melissa Kelly puts her arm skin in her mouth, but she spits it out in Shauna's face. Now Shauna can't see. She fell down to the ground. She grabs Melissa Kelly by the hair, but she was able to get away and run to her car. She said, "Melissa, open the door." Now, why would she do that, Shauna? Melissa Kelly is happy now. She's smiling. She thinks she got away. But guess what? Ain't no gas in her car. Your wife told you to put gas in your car, and now look at you. I must have been breathing in the same cave fumes Akila's been breathing in, because in my episode 9 trailer breakdown, I said either Thaisa or Misty probably rented a car, and it's them pulling up on Melissa Kelly like that. And I was right. Don't tell Lottie. I know she dead, but the last thing I need is Ghost Lottie following me. I just wasn't sure how Van was involved and how she got out the hospital. But while they're on their way to find Shauna, they notice someone is on the side of the road. Misty, being nosy, she's looking to see who it is. She's like, "That looks like Melissa. Go back. Go, go now." Thaisa and Misty get out the car to chase her down. While Van is still in the car, she barely alive. As she's sitting there, she notices the railroad sign and says to herself, "X marks the spot." Remember, that's what Teen Van told her when she was in the hospital. But they tackle Melissa Kelly down and they kidnap her and make her get inside the car. She tells them, "Shauna broke inside my house and made me eat my arm." No one was shocked. They were just like, "Oh, okay. Of course she did." That's wild. Thaisa asked her if she was the one who sent the tape, and Melissa Kelly admits to it. When she tried to get out the car, Thaisa put the child lock on her. "You're not going nowhere." What was she going to do? Roll down the road? They finally get to Melissa Kelly's house where Shauna is trying to clean up her mess, and Shauna is relieved that they found her. She was scared she was probably going to go to the police or something. When she asked, "How did you find her?" they told her she ran out of gas. Shauna said, Guess you should have listened to your wife. Immediately, Shauna says, what can we use to tie her up with? They're all like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. Shauna's like, why? She admitted to sending the tape, which means she killed Lottie. Misty said, hold on, Martha, misdirect, trying to point the finger at somebody else. Don't forget, Shauna's DNA was under Lottie's fingernails. And she was in the city. I even have the receipt to prove it. Shauna tells them she was only there to get a cat for Jeff's karma. Misty calls BS. Shauna again brings up the phone, the brakes, and the freezer. Misty finally admits to the freezer. She told her, I thought a little time in the freezer would do you some good. Taissa doesn't think Shauna killed Lottie. Everyone's like, of course you don't. You always take her side. She's just worried about cleaning up the situation they have now. Misty said, no, no, this is Shauna's mess. Find some other maid to clean it up. And I don't blame her. I would have walked out too. Shauna got the audacity to think Misty would help her clean up her mess. Meanwhile, the Joes finally offered Jeff the furniture job he's been wanting and begging to get. He and Callie bond over smoking weed since Shauna isn't around and can't tell them what to do. Jeff wants to go out and celebrate his new job at a place that has steaks for $80. Callie said, Mom would kill us if we spent that much. And yeah, she probably would. Callie asked him if he meant what he said when he told the Joes Shauna is crazy and just hasn't been diagnosed yet. She's unhinged. When he tries to take it back, she says, it's okay, I feel that way too. Then it looks like he's about to cry, and he says, it's hard being married to your mom. It's lonely. And I bet it is. I feel for Jeff. Shauna will be the death of him. Misty meets with Walter, and he pulls up in a helicopter stunting on everybody. When she gets to his house, she tells him Shauna's cat story surprisingly adds up, but he's still on Shauna's neck. He said maybe she had the cat wait in the car while she committed the murder, and told her when it comes to the Yellowjackets, her judgment is a bit off. At this point, she knows something is up with Walter, but she plays it off and tells him he could be right. I'm even suspicious with Walter during this conversation. She knows he cloned Lottie's phone, so she asked him to go and get it. Then, when he comes back, since she's sipping on a chocolate drink, she has him go and get her some chocolate shavings for it. While he's doing that, she starts looking through Lottie's cloned phone, and whatever she found got her shook. Maybe it's evidence that Walter killed Lottie, or since it's Shauna's DNA, maybe it's actually Callie's DNA and she's the one who killed Lottie. But if so, why would Walter not say this and still point the finger at Shauna when we know he's been all up and through that phone? Either way, I don't trust Walter, and I don't like his facial expression when he walked out the house. Because why you looking like that for? Now, at this point, they have tied Melissa Kelly up, but Shauna want to know, is it tight? They bring up Adam and how this is a similar situation. Shauna said, now you know you just dug her grave, right? Because why you gotta bring up Adam for? What do you got to do with this? Melissa Kelly says, so she killed Adam, had y'all clean it up, and she was probably wrong about that too. And you know, Shauna always has to get one up on somebody. At least try. She said, what kind of psychopath sends a dead woman's tape and marries her daughter? Everyone is shook. What? You married her daughter? But I'm looking at another psychopath because what kind of psychopath leaves another person's blood on their face and don't clean it off? You're supposed to be cleaning up your mess, right? So why not start with your face? I'm telling y'all, she's a brunette Chucky. Taissa tells Melissa Kelly to sit down while her and Shauna figure out what to do with her, and Van goes to the car. There's only so much that voodoo juice can do, but she messed up because she told Melissa Kelly to sit down in the wrong spot. Because by the time Van came back from the car, Taissa and Shauna was passed out on the floor. Van said, what happened? Melissa Kelly done closed down the flue to the fireplace, having the house fill up with carbon monoxide. Van gets Taissa out the house and sits her on the porch and gives her some of her oxygen. While Taissa is breathing in this oxygen, it looks like she's in hell. The phone rings and she picks it up, and she can hear Van telling her to breathe. Then here comes other Ty. Hang up the phone. You never knew what she needed. Taissa said, you're the one who never knew what she needed. Then they start fighting. We don't get to see the fight, and we don't know who wins. But when Taissa wakes up, she tells Van, it's me. But do I believe her? I don't know. Could this be what Teen Van was talking about? Is this adult Van being the hero, meaning that other Ty is gone for good, so that other people won't have to get sacrificed? Van goes back in the house to get Shauna, and I said, no, don't do that. Now Shauna's safe on the porch, Van goes back inside. She picks up a knife, and at first it looks like she's going to stab her. Not lesbian on lesbian violence, but she decides to cut Melissa Kelly free. Melissa Kelly tells her, if you let me go, this can all end now. And that's when Van tells her she has cancer. And it's a chance that if she killed her right now, she could live. Melissa Kelly was manipulating Van this whole time. She tells her, come on, you don't think that's real, do you? She tells Van she's different and that there's goodness in her. And I agree. She says, but if the wilderness is telling you to put that knife through my heart so you can live, then do it. Van gets mad at herself because she can't do it. She's like, why? Why can't I be that? Why? Melissa Kelly tells her because she doesn't want to be. Van made the mistake of letting her guard down, and that was when Melissa Kelly was able to get the knife and stabbed Van right in the chest. Then I said, why? I thought the cancer was going to take her out, not Melissa Kelly. I'm distraught. Even though I think we all seen this death coming, I'm still mad. Because why it gotta be Melissa Kelly taking out Van? Melissa Kelly? She's so irrelevant. I'm Team Shauna now. You're nothing. Then Thaisa comes in the house and she got to see Van laid out on the floor. Laid out bleeding. Melissa Kelly done ran out the door. This means war. Now Van is in the same airplane Natalie was in, looking at herself dead on the floor. Teen Van is sitting right next to her, talking about, I know it's hard to watch. Adult Van says, I die? I'm dead? Why would you send me in there if you knew I was just gonna die? Teen Van says it wasn't my call. This is just how our story goes. Adult Van is confused. She said, you said I was going to be the hero. Teen Van tells her, you are. You saved them. You got the real love of our lives back. You show me a greater treasure. Oh, great. And now I'm dead. Teen Van says, surviving this was never the reward. Adult Van says, well, tell me what happens then. Teen Van replies with, where would be the fun in that? So maybe this does mean Other Ty is really dead and gone, but I still don't know how she saved Shauna. Or Misty, or I don't know what Teen Van really talking about. Help me out, y'all. And let me know your thoughts and theories down in the comments so we can talk about it. And if you haven't already and want to see more videos like this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one.